Okay, I think we're good.
Green now, right?
Supervisor Joy, I think we're ready.
Can you see me on the big screen?
I can only see you on your, I think, personal computer, Supervisor Joy.
Hold on, let's see.
Right now, Matt is sharing the agenda, so that's the main thing on the screen, but we see all the panels.
I think it's more. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. Got it. I think you can see me now. I'm now on the big screen. Good. You can see me on that?
We can see you, Supervisor Joy.
Good. Okay, we got it working. That works. The agenda, hold on.
Okay, can you see me?
We can see you, Federal.
Okay, great. Good
All
morning,
right.
all.
Good morning, everybody. This is a meeting of the Contra Costa County Industrial Safety Ordinance Community Warning System Ad Hoc Committee. I'm Supervisor Joy, the chair, and my colleague is here.
I'm Supervisor Glover, committee member.
All right, first is public comment on items not on our agenda. Normally, by the way, Matt, our comments are 2 minutes, not 3. So in the future ones, that's what we do at the board, they should be 2 minutes. So you can just change that for the future, but we'll do 3 now, okay?
Okay, we'll do, John.
All right.
If anyone has public comment that they would like to make, please raise your hand in the Zoom app now. Supervisor Joya, we do not have any hands raised.
Okay. All right, we will move to approve the meeting minutes from July 27th of 2023. Federal, you good with that?
I'm good with it.
Good, okay. All right, so we've approved is there any public comment on the minutes?
If you would like to make a public comment on item number 3, approval of the minutes from July 27, 2023, Industrial Safety Ordinance Committee meeting, please raise your hand now in the Zoom app. We do not have any hands raised.
Okay. Hold on here, I need to go back to this one more time. All right, item 4 is receive a status report regarding the independent incident investigation into the February 9th, 2021 wharf oil spill at the Chevron Richmond refinery and provide direction as necessary.
Good morning.
Joya,
can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Paul Heath is going to be making this presentation.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, so after we had our public meeting in July for the wharf oil spill report from Accutech, Contra Costa Health Hazmat received over 200 comments from the public that need to be addressed. And so the division is currently working on drafting responses to the comments, and we anticipate that we will have comments finalized in early 2024.
So these are responses to the comments on the report, correct?
That is correct, from our 45-day public comment period.
Got it. Okay, and then, because ultimately we want to finalize that report and any recommendations. So should we, what should we will schedule this for the next meeting. And then we should get a full report on the incident and your responses with final recommendations.
That is correct. At the next meeting, we can prepare for the final report presentation with the recommendations incorporated and public
Okay.
comment responses.
Got it. All right, Federal, any questions or comments?
No, when did the clock start ticking on the 45 days?
The 45-day public comment period started in July and ended in August. So the division has been working on going through all of those extensive comments that we received since then.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
All right, is there any public comment on this item?
If you would like to make public comment on item number 4, which was receiving a status report regarding the independent investigation into the February 9th, 2021 wharf oil spill at Chevron's Richmond refinery, please raise your hand now in the Zoom app. We do not have any hands raised.
Okay. All right, item 5 is to receive an update from the Oversight Committee and provide direction as necessary regarding the investigation into the spent catalyst release that occurred on November 24th and 25th, 2022 at the Martinez Refining Company.
Yes, good morning. I will be reporting out on this item as well. I have 3 separate updates for work from the Oversight Committee. So the first update that I would like to make is around the community risk assessment that was done as a part of the Oversight Committee's work. We had a public meeting on September 25th, and our public comment period for that draft report ended October 12th of this year. We are working with the selected contractor TRC on addressing the public comments as a result of this meeting and public comment period. During our review and work with TRC, they have indicated that they are going to be conducting some additional data statistical analysis and review. And so we also anticipate that we will be able to get that accomplished and have a final report ready to present at the next Industrial Safety Ordinance Community Warning System meeting. So that is the end of the update for the community risk assessment. In terms of the incident investigation, we are still awaiting a draft report of the incident investigation from our contractor, Scott Berger. We did go back on site in November. Contra Costa Health Hazmat went with Scott Berger on site to verify some technical items related to this incident. That was done November 14th of this year. And so we anticipate that sometime in early 2024, we will be able to have a draft report and meeting report to report that the draft report findings through the Oversight Committee. That is the end of the update for the incident investigation. In terms of the safety culture assessment, we did sign a contract this week with the consultant, and we will be working on having the consultant begin that work as soon as possible to do the safety culture assessment for MRC. And that is the end of the report.
And the safety culture assessment is also under the sort of oversight of the same community oversight committee that's overseeing the incident investigation as well, correct?
That is correct.
So they're being given updates. Now, and in terms of, I know you've been cooperating with the district attorney and the air district. I know there was an announcement that the air district, Bay Area Quality Management District, is working with the district attorney on an investigation. Any idea of, and I know they don't always estimate, of when that investigation of the DA and the air district will be complete?
I do not have any information on that.
Yeah, Supervisor Joy, I think that question is probably best directed toward the district attorney's office. I know some investigations take longer than others. We don't necessarily know and aren't really, you know, their process is their process. So.
Yeah, I think we should check in and have a formal, maybe ask of the health department to the district attorney. I mean, we could find out, but I think having a formal ask from the health department on what their timing is.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
do that.
agree.
The health department will make a request to the district attorney to better understand the timelines for investigation of the MRC case referral that they're working on with the Bay Area Quality Management District.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Why don't we take public comment at this point?
Okay, if anyone would like to make a public comment on item number 5, which is to receive an update from the Oversight Committee and provide direction as necessary regarding the investigation into the spent catalyst release that occurred on November 24th through 25th, 2022 at the Martinez Refining Company, please raise your hand now. We do have public comments. We'll start with A. Good day.
Hi there, this is Alicia G'day with Healthy Martinez. I was curious what the status of the safety culture investigation and report is, and whether or not that will be presented at community oversight meetings or through these meetings. I'm not sure what that falls under. And then if we can get an idea of what is on the agenda for this week's community oversight meeting that's happening on Thursday, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, just as the health staff said at the beginning, the safety cultural assessment is underway, that you signed a contract with a consultant to do that work, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So
But we don't.
Yeah.
We don't
Yes.
have a timeline on that yet.
Not at this time, as work has not commenced.
Okay.
And it will be presented, as they mentioned, it will be presented to the Oversight Committee. The Oversight Committee oversees that process, as they did say that at the beginning. So the Oversight Committee will oversee that process. And the agenda is it been publicly posted yet of the Oversight Committee?
We do not have an agenda posted. The meeting is purely to provide a status update, very similar to what is just provided now at this meeting.
So it's the same updates, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
But can I just add really quick? But TRC will be giving an update, or no?
Not at this time. We are still working with TRC to address comments from the public comment period.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Thanks. Next speaker.
The next speaker will be Greg Karras.
Good morning, Greg. Oh, don't hear him. We don't hear you, Greg.
Good morning, supervisors. Greg Karras, Community Energy Resource.
Good morning, Greg. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, well, you probably don't see me now either. Sorry about that.
Oh, we don't.
So just quickly, I'm concerned that the what should be relatively straightforward, simple elements of the independent root cause analysis are taking so long. And of course, I'm looking at this from a community perspective as well as a technical perspective. As Nicole knows, I've reached out and offered to share information informally. I think I could help with that. I'd like to be able to do that with Scott Berger and with your staff. And I gather from those discussions that staff would prefer that this request be read out there in the open, so I'm making it now. Unfortunately, I have a conflict on Thursday, so I won't be able to continue this discussion during the oversight meeting this Thursday, but I wanted to throw it out there for you, Supervisor Joya and Glover. Please let us know if it's okay to share information with your staff. This is something I've done with the Chemical Safety Board when they come to town, for City of Richmond and others. And I realize that I'm still getting to know the new staff. So please consider just saying right now that it's cool for you, and it's cool with you if we professionally share information. about what we're learning about the investigation as we wait for the final report.
And Gray, just so it's clear, when you say share information, just what kind of information and what the source of the information?
Oh, yeah. So, for example, because of my other work, I know that Shell has shared pretty detailed information publicly about their the turnaround and the changes they made to the cat cracker, the same unit, in some of the same places where the public information from this incident investigation suggests there were problems. And so that information is public. It's possible that staff or Scott Berger don't know about it yet. In fact, it's quite likely that they will know things that I don't know. I will know things they don't know. And I'm not talking about confidential business information or trade secrets or litigation strategies. I'm just talking about, let's get to the facts of this and let's start to figure out how we can talk about it beyond just process. You know, I've noticed that the staff's giving you, oh, here's where the process is at. I think what the community is looking for and what I would look for is that we be able to start talking about what have we learned so far about what really happened and what are our questions. That'll make it a better investigation. That's my purpose.
And Matt and Nicole, I imagine, yeah, I mean, any information that's relevant that anyone is aware of would be shared with you, I would imagine, and that you, or would be shared with you or with the consultant. How would that work?
Supervisor Joya, that information can be shared with the county, and then we can be the pass through to our consultant, Scott Berger, to provide that information to him.
Okay.
And I anticipate that we will be having less process conversations and more nuts and bolts conversations about the findings from that report at the next meeting. Again, you know, Scott
what's the
Berger.
best way for you to get any new information that Mr. Karras may have, just to be in contact with you directly?
Yeah, Nicole, how would you like that information to come into the division?
Yeah, we can have that come through to my email directly, and then I will pass along the information.
And any potential follow-up conversations, right, to clarify any of the information that's coming in or more fully understand it, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Isn't that a part of the public comment process that we have in place?
That's correct, Supervisor Glover. There will be a 45-day public comment period on the draft report once it comes out. So
Okay,
if there
so
appears to be missing elements, things that the community doesn't feel were considered or need to be looked into further, those comments can be provided then.
Yeah.
okay.
If I could just add, and to the staff's credit, some of this has already started through public information requests that I've emailed to Nicole, and I got a response from her about the timing of a only slightly delayed response to that request just last week. So that we're already starting to do that. That's the normal process. I guess what I'm thinking about is possible sit-down meetings to talk about technical details as well.
Okay. So it sounds like you'll send material over to them and any follow-up. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
The next public comment will be from Heidi Taylor.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to support Greg's request. I think he is extremely knowledgeable, and we need to check all the boxes in this investigation. Supervisor Joya, thank you for allowing him to push that information on to Nicole. That's fantastic, because I think that's how things don't get delayed. Like Scott Berger should already be looking at what Greg is talking about so that we have the most complete draft report. My other point that I'd like to make is about the safety culture assessment. I'm curious as to how this all works. I'm wondering if we could have requested that sooner, like right after the spent catalyst release. And then I'm also curious as to what this specific safety culture assessment, the scope of it. So is it going to include just the spent catalyst release, or will it analyze the pet coke releases and the constant flaring that's happening? I think that we've got a multiple issues happening at MRC, and we're all really on edge as to what's going to happen next. So I would appreciate some information on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Matt, I know Federal and I have seen safety culture assessments before. It's a full safety culture assessment of the facility, so it covers everything, as I understand it, correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct. It
So
doesn't
Heidi,
actually
yeah,
focus
in
on the
answer to your question, it's, yeah, safety culture is safety culture, right? So it's not aligned with just one incident. It is the safety culture generally at the facility, which, and obviously all of the incidents are relevant.
That's correct.
So it's a deeper dive.
It's a deeper dive into the entire culture of safety at the refinery, not focused on a single incident or instance
Got it.
or unit, right? It's refinery wide.
Okay. Next speaker.
Supervisor Joya, I don't see any other hands raised.
Okay. We need a motion to accept this report.
So move.
Second, so we've accepted the report. Item 6 is to receive a status report regarding recent incidents at Martinez Renewable Fuels facility on November 19th and Chevron Richmond Refinery on November 27th, and provide direction as necessary. So we'll start with the Martinez Renewables.
Okay, I will also be reporting out on this item. So on November 19th, 2023, Contra Costa Health Hazmat was informed of a level 2 incident at the Martinez Renewable Fuels facility, which was a furnace fire. Because it was a level 2 through the community warning system, this means it is also classified as a major chemical accident or release. And due to the severity of this incident, we did send a team out on site to initiate a safety inspection at the Martinez Renewable Fuels facility. We have also been engaging with other agencies that have their own investigations into this as well, and are continuing our safety inspection throughout this week. However, when staff went on site and started that initial safety inspection, what they had found was that while investigations are taking place that are focusing on the core process safety management elements, there is a gap in the elements that are under the industrial safety ordinance. And this is due to the fact that as a renewable fuels, Marathon Martinez Renewable Fuels facility does not fall under the CalARP program for refineries regulations, nor the Cal-OSHA 5189.1 process safety management for refineries regulations. Upon our staff's review, we feel that it would be prudent to have a safety evaluation that focuses on safety culture and human factors and select safety program elements found in the industrial safety ordinance. And we'll report this back to the committee here.
As a comment, I know we amended our industrial safety ordinance so that our ordinance does cover renewable fuel facilities.
Our industrial safety ordinance does cover renewable fuels facilities. That is correct. So both the Martinez Renewable Fuels and when they convert the Phillips
Right.
66 will be
Right.
covered under industrial safety ordinance.
Right, you're saying that state law, that because CalARP is the California Accidental Release Prevention Program, and Cal-OSHA, that state law does not cover them.
That is correct.
So on an aside, I'm wondering, Federal, if we should make a recommendation ultimately as a board to have state law be changed so that, while our ordinance covers them, that the relevant provisions of Cal-OSHA and CalARP cover these renewable fuel facilities. It's a separate issue, but we should maybe consider, that message to the state.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, we have our local laws here, but certainly we want to make sure that it's all inclusive.
And
So
right. And with regard to ours, So Nicole, you're recommending that we start a safety culture assessment?
I'm recommending a safety evaluation, which would focus on areas such as safety culture and human factors.
So it includes human factors, safety, and we would hire a consultant?
Yes.
And
Yes,
what's
we
the
would
time,
likely hire a consultant to do this work.
and what's the timing of that?
We'd
I
have to
wouldn't
put
be
out an
able to give a
RFP,
firm
probably.
timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we would need to go through the RFP process to do that before we had any work begin.
Okay, and that consultant would be the cost of the refineries also, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
And then we would report the findings from that safety evaluation to this committee.
Right. And what would be the role of any oversight committee?
Nicole and I had chatted briefly about this. I think at this point, because this incident didn't have an offsite consequence and we're not seeing a lot of community interest, we didn't, we certainly aren't necessarily seeing the need for an oversight committee, but if Supervisor Joya and Supervisor Glover, if that's your wish, then we can set up an oversight committee and have it go, and the report be presented to them, have a local oversight for it.
Federal, what's your thought about that? It's in your
Well,
district.
Well, at this time, I think that let's move forward with what we have, and if if there's a need to review, because I think this is going to be all inclusive, then we can consider at that time. But I think that from the process standpoint, that we're in pretty good shape.
All right, let's get the report on Chevron.
Okay, so on approximately 3:45 p.m. on November 27th, Contra Costa Health Hazmat was notified of a level 1 flaring incident from the Chevron Richmond refinery. We did send staff out to perform air monitoring to determine whether or not there was any public health impact to the community. While the flaring event was quite large and there was very visible smoke coming from the flaring event, it was determined through air monitoring that there was no impact to public health. As a result of the flaring, the weather conditions at that time did send the resulting smoke away from the community. And we are continually working to obtain more information. Chevron has provided their 72-hour report, which has led us some insight into the cause of this, but we'll be working very closely with them as they continue their investigation. And we will have our on-site engineer working with Chevron throughout that process and reporting back to us.
So let me read, the Air District is also involved with this. So let me just read I had an update from the Air District. District Regulation 12-12-406 requires Chevron to submit a flare causal report within 60 days following the end of the month in which a reportable flaring event occurs. So it will be by the end of January. The refineries are required to submit 2 flare causal reports, one that contains all the confidential business information and one that redacts all that information so that it can be made public. After the Air District receives the public report, it will be posted to the district's website for the public. Air District staff are meeting with Chevron to discuss the root cause, and also have gone out in the field as needed, and are reviewing procedures for maintaining and operating the equipment involved in a power loss. Because in this particular case, the flaring was due to a power loss at the facility. This will help the Air District understand the root cause and will help the Air District understand what could have been done and what can be done in the future to prevent similar incidents. The Air District also issued notice of violation reports, which will be used as part of the investigation, and any fines and penalties. And those notice of violation reports get released when there is the disposition of that. So I just wanted to pull in the Air District as the primary agency that's responsible. I will say that I know there's a presentation to the Richmond City Council on this tomorrow night, and that the air there is an AB 617 pollution reduction plan coming out from the community here in the next this month. And I think it's going to identify some recommendations about maybe some amendments to the air district's flaring ordinance or flaring regulation. So I just wanted to update that is what is going on right now, since the air district regulates flaring at facilities. And it appears, right, that what the air district is always interested in understanding, and the county, is what was the underlying cause of the power failure at the refinery, because it was that power failure that resulted in a upset to the processes that are going on that resulted in the need to flare. And so the flaring addressed an underlying problem that occurred, and I think the air district's interested in the county in understanding the underlying problem and what steps Chevron should take to prevent that type of power loss from happening in the future.
Yeah.
That was
Yes,
anything
can
else?
I just add on, sorry, I was remiss in my report out to also indicate that we are having our on-site Chevron engineer work with the air district to review that flare causal report when it comes out and look at the root causes and any process safety implications that may be as a result of the incident.
Got it. Okay. All right, let's take public comment on this item.
John, just
Yes.
a point, and this is a question also. Nicole, in terms of the Martinez renewable, and my understanding is that Cal OSHA has been in the plant since the beginning. Do they still have a presence there?
I believe they still do, but Cal OSHA would be best to answer that. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Oh, and Nicole, is understanding that the U.S. Chemical Safety Board is looking at an investigation into the Martinez renewable fire?
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
They have started an investigation.
Got it. And are they in contact with you?
Yes, they have been in contact with us and the team that we have on site doing the safety inspection.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Public comment.
Okay, if any members of the public would like to make a public comment on item number 6, which is to receive a status report regarding recent incidents at the Martinez Renewable Fuels Facility on November 19th and Chevron Richmond Refinery on November 27th, please raise your hand now and Zoom. We'll start with Wendy.
Hello, thank you so much for taking my comments. I'm speaking on behalf of Healthy Martinez, the Refinery Accountability Group. Thank you, Nicole, for letting us know. I think we had heard that the Chemical Safety Board might be involved in the Martinez Renewables incident. And knowing that and that county health staff are involved with this, Healthy Martinez is happy to hear that. I think separately, with our understanding of section C2 of the ISO, and also that this is a level 2, there's an opportunity for the county to conduct a separate and thorough root cause analysis. So I guess maybe just clarification on that. And also, I think Healthy Martinez has recently seen the analysis provided by BK White of the Chevron incident. And while I don't want to confuse these two incidences, I know you reported on both in this one agenda item, but I suppose I want to draw the comparison of something that BK White raised, which is that the Chevron incident specifically underscores the broader issue of insufficient oversight and enforcement in industrial operations. Industries, if left unchecked, may prioritize profit over safety, negatively impacting surrounding communities. And that statement seems to apply to all 3 of these refineries that we're talking about today. And so I just wanted to highlight it and say that Healthy Martinez wants to ensure that the local regulatory agencies prioritize community health and safety by taking any and all opportunities within their power to exercise the enforcement authority And that would be individually or collectively with other organizations and or agencies that are doing these investigations. We want to continue to hold these refineries accountable for their actions. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next public comment will be from Greg Karras.
Hi, Greg Karras again, Community Energy Resource. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I wanted to strongly support your suggestion to ask the board to formally ask the state, Cal OSHA, to add the Phillips 66 and Marathon refineries in your county back in to the process safety management regs statewide. You want them to have your back, even if your staff does more than they do, which I think is still the case, frankly. And keep in mind that these are not the only two. They're the largest, but not the only two refinery conversions to this hydrotreated esters and fatty acids technology in the state. There are, I'm aware of at least one very active project in Paramount down LA way. And I think there's one in Bakersfield. So it is a statewide matter. So I wanted to support that. I was gonna, I raised my hand originally just to mention that the CSB is coming to town on Marathon incident. They're opening an investigation, and I spoke with them as well. So it's sort of a soft suggestion, something you might want to think about, inviting CSB staff to a future committee meeting to report on their interim results. CSB often does a semi-formal interim investigation report that they also finalize. They may or may not, and they will hold a public hearing on that themselves. They may or may not hold that hearing in Washington or in Martinez. I don't know their budget, but along the way, it might be really useful for the committee to hear from them if they wish to present interim results or findings. That's it.
Thank you. And I think in the past we've had contact on previous investigations, and I think Matt and Nicole, at the appropriate time when there's something, it would be useful to have a presentation from the Chemical Safety Board, and they can do it by Zoom from Washington about their process into their investigation, similar to what they did with us on the Chevron fire 10 years ago.
Understood. We will do that. The next public comment will be from A. G'day.
Hi, Alicia G'day, Healthy Martinez. I just had a question. We've noticed that sometimes when there is an incident, there will be a categorization of the level of the incident. For example, at Marathon, it was initially reported as a level 1 incident, and that was amplified in the media as a level 1 incident. I was curious who is making that designation and how? And how did it get switched to a level 2, and when did it get switched to a level 2 incident?
Thank you. And thank you. And staff, do you want to explain that?
Supervisor Joy, I can take the first stab if you want, and then Nicole, feel free to add in. The Martinez Renewable Fuels incident was actually initially classified as a level 2 by the facility. And that was around 12.
It was originally as a level 2.
Correct. That was around 12:30 at night. Again, staff responded to that call, conducted air monitoring, assessed the situation, and the health advisory was later lifted around 3 or 3:30 in the morning. Subsequent to that incident, there was a notification put in by Martinez Renewable Fuels for a level 1 flaring incident after the level 2 incident, because they now were starting to flare as a result of that incident. So I did see some media reports on this. It initially came into us as a level 2, but there was a subsequent level 1 that was entered into the community warning system by the facility for flaring that happened after the incident. Nicole, did you have anything to add there?
I didn't have anything to add in terms of the particular incident on November 19th, but I did want to add to clarify for Alicia that it is the facility who makes the initial level determination with their notification through the CWS terminal. However, the Health Department Hazmat Division has the ability to change the level of the incident if at any time we believe it is at a higher classification or a different classification, I believe I should say. So we have that final authority.
Right, ultimately, the health department can make the final determination. Right.
Correct.
And I know that's determined by sort of inspectors on scene, my readings of monitors, things like that, of whether there's any offsite impacts. I know that issue came up with one of the Chevron flaring event, when the flaring went straight up and then headed west toward Marin County and stayed high. There was not, I know in Contra Costa, there was not an indication of impact to the surrounding community in Richmond at that time. And that was the health department determined that, I believe.
That's correct, Supervisor Joya. In fact, I actually
Okay.
responded to that call. Typically with hazardous materials incidents, the weather conditions of the day, the wind direction, the chemicals that are involved, the duration of the incident, many things go into determining whether an incident needs to escalate from, let's say, a level 1 to a level 2 or a level 3. And that is determined based on public impact to health. So if there is going to be a health impact as a result of that incident, we increase the level.
Thank you. Okay.
Supervisor Joya, there's no additional public comment at this time.
All right, so we've accepted this report.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to our next item. Hold on, let me pull it up on the agenda. Item 7 is receive a status report regarding proposed modifications to the Contra Costa County hazardous materials incident notification policy for level 1 incident. Yeah, I'm really wanting this to move forward quickly. I'm a little concerned about the time this is taking. So can you give us the status report?
Sure, Supervisor Joya. Matt Kaufman, Deputy Director with the Contra Costa County Health Department. We're in the process right now of surveying the community, and there's a link to the survey in the agenda packet. There's, I think, 12 or 13 questions that we're asking the community because we really want to make an informed recommendation to this committee based on changes to the incident notification policy for level 1 notifications. Again, these are for incidents that do not have a public health impact to our community, but may be visible, may be seen, may be heard, maybe there's odors off-site. So we want to understand from the public what they want to know about and how they want to be communicated with during these incidents. We anticipate this survey closing at the beginning of January, and then we will come to the committee next committee meeting with recommendations on changes to the note.
Can you put together a paragraph or two that sets the context for why we're seeking this so we can help push this out into the community? When's the deadline for this? Because I mean, I think both Federal and I have mechanisms to put this out, and I want to get this out into the community as soon as possible. So let's see here.
Yeah, we're looking to close it on January 12th, 2024, so 2 weeks into the new year.
And do you have something about this that's posted about why you're seeking this?
Yes, the opening lines, I think, in the survey actually say we're looking for community input on incidents.
Yeah, what I think you should do is put on your website more information about this and the context. This is very little information. I mean, I get on the survey, this is fine, but I think you should put together a paragraph or two, put it on the website right away, send it to us, because I want to do an e-blast out to the Richmond area community. Federal will probably
and I would do the same.
Yeah. It says, here's the current, here's what your context needs to show. Here's what the current policy provides. that these are the type of incidents in which we notify through the community warning system. We have received, there's been that supervisor, our committee, right, has directed that we expand this and to include, some level 1. We want your input to understand how best to do this. So 1, what's the current policy? When are things, in a very brief, it could be less than a page, of what people are, what the current policy is on notifications, the direction by the committee to expand that. And now we're getting public input, and you should get that up this week.
Thank you, Supervisor Joya, for that. Kim McCarl, our communications officer, has joined us. She's actually going to talk a bit about her process of getting this out to the community.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm asking for that informational piece to be out there so we could let people know the context for this. I believe if people ask me first and foremost, what's your policy now? Why is it that certain things aren't released, we're not notified? So what is our current policy in a very layperson's description? And the direction of how we look at expanding it and seeking input. So people need to know what the policy is. And then, Kim, tell us more about the outreach.
Yeah, so thank you, Supervisor Joya, for the opportunity. We will certainly add that background to what we do. Just as a bit of an aside, the health department is actually launching a brand new website on Thursday. So right now we're in a bit of a quiet period where we're not making changes to our website because they won't transfer over. But on Friday, we will have a completely new website that will be able to highlight this and many other things in a completely new way. So it will be front and center, the survey itself and this background information you've just asked for will be front and center starting on Friday. I also will put out, as we often do, a packet to the Board of Supervisors that has social media posts, images, talking points, a little write-up for your newsletters that you can all just repurpose in English and Spanish for you to use. We'll have that to you also by the end of the week. So, I think we have the opportunity, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have the opportunity to extend the deadline on the survey a little bit if we find we're not getting the level of response that we want.
You'll post this on your website, new website, right?
Yep.
The context, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay.
Good.
And that would be and then you'll send it to us, correct?
Yes, I'll send you a whole little packet of stuff for you to use, including social media images and all those things we normally do. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Federal, anything else?
No, that's good. I look forward to getting that out.
All right. Any public comment?
If you'd like to make a public comment on item number 7 to receive a status report regarding the proposed modifications to the Contra Costa County Hazardous Materials Incident Notification Policy for Level 1 incident notifications to the public, please raise your hand now in the Zoom app. We will start with Heidi Taylor.
Hi, everyone. Again, I want to thank County Health for their ongoing effort to improve communication. I'd also like to invite everyone to think of this a little bit differently. I know I did not get notification for the Marathon or Martinez Renewable Fuels incident. That's very disappointing. And so I actually went on the website and changed my settings so that now I will get notifications by facility. And I'm hoping that that will take care of the problem. But that's why I'm talking now, because I think rather than delay this further with a survey and what people want, et cetera, make those options available and allow people to choose what they want. We will certainly push it out through our organization, Healthy Martinez, so that people, they get what they want. And we're not stuck in another box where, oh no, we did a survey and we're not going to do this, that, or the other thing. The other thing I'm concerned about, as an example, is that if you don't live within 1,000 feet of, the fence line, then you didn't get notice. That shouldn't be the case. I still want to know about my neighbors in Richmond and what's happening at Chevron or P66. Like, we are a united community on this refinery corridor. So please open that up so that we can decide what we want to hear, what we want to have notifications about. Thank you.
Heidi, thanks for that. I want to make one point is that, you know, when there are these incidents, I know, Matt, if there's a level 1 incident, let's say that's purely on site, isn't that put on our, when is that put on our website?
Thanks, Supervisor Joya. It's required to, the facility has to notify us if the incident is either seen, heard, or there's odors off-site that last longer than 20 minutes. If any of those happen, they need to notify the county, and then it is automatically put on our website for a level 1 incident.
Got it. So I think, Heidi, one of the things you can sign up for while these are on our website, I think the policy we're looking at, which goes beyond, I think, what you're talking about, is when we actually proactively put it out over the community warning system. I mean, it's one thing to put something on our county website and then the work people can find out about what's going on. It's another thing to actually utilize the community warning system, which gets it out by phone into the community, including by cell phone. So in other words, right, Matt, people would get messages on their cell phones. So while you may notify people that there's a level 1 going on, we're looking at actually changing the protocols so certain types of level 1 incidents may go out on cell phones directly to people or reverse 911. So I think that's even beyond, I think, the issue you're talking about is proactively utilizing this large official network, which goes to the media and goes out directly to people through the phone system. Right now, it's only level 2s, right, Matt? We're trying to change it so that other types of incidents where there's not a notification through the cell phone would go out, because we have everybody's 911, right, on a reverse directory. Plus we have this extensive list of those who sign up on their cell, and of course, getting everyone's help to get more people to sign up their cells is helpful. Okay, all right. But so we need to get, Heidi, you wanted to have a follow-up just quickly?
Yes. Hi, so can you carve it out? Is it an all or nothing situation? I'm confused. So can certain people get level 1 notifications and others not?
No, right now the level 1 notifications are on the website. The only way we get those out, right? We believe that if the public needs to know about it, we need to put it out through the community warning system, because that would, right, it gets it out. Right now, right, Matt, anybody could get, go to the website. When you put a level 1 up, do you notify anybody other than putting it on the website?
No, at this point in time, it just goes onto our website, Supervisor Joya. And
Right.
what we've heard from the community is there are certain instances that maybe the community wants to have text message, email,
Right.
different information packets coming to them directly, as opposed to them coming to the county's website to see a notification.
Right. So that's what we're looking at is the only way, you know, to get it out to the community is through their cell phones, right? And I think that's what we're working on trying to do, is to get that out through the cell phone, media, and 911 directory. And that's why we're looking at changing the policy, right? We don't want to, there's no reason to let thousands of people know about something that is level 1 that you can't see, can't smell, and is limited to the facility, right? We're trying to find out the level 1 that are visible, people wonder what's going on, and we're trying to inform them what's going on, even if the health department has determined it's not off-site. I look at my office on the front lines in Richmond, have gotten these for 20 years. And it is not uncommon for people to see it while their health department has said that there's no immediate offsite impact. They wonder what's going on. And I think that's where we're looking at using the cell system and the 911 system to let people know that what the experts say is you don't want to cry wolf on an incident you don't want to inform tens of thousands of people on an incident that doesn't have an immediate health impact. Then people get, the science shows people then get immune to it. And when they need to act, won't do anything. They say, oh, that was that last one. I didn't see it. You just notified me. So when there was a real one, so that's why we're now trying to carve out incidents that may be visible, that we want to notify the public what's going on.
I just want to say that I'm not really happy with that because I'm the type of person who wants more information. I didn't know anything about Marathon that was happening.
Right.
And I want a deeper, I honestly get better notifications from the city of Martinez than the county.
Then the answer, this is exactly why we have this community survey, is to hear those thoughts. And you get the survey out to people. How we craft this policy will depend upon also what we're hearing from the community. So you should encourage folks in your network to do the community survey.
All right, will do. Thank you.
The next public comment will be from Greg Karras.
Hi, thanks. So great discussion. I kind of see both sides of what you're talking about. Maybe the way to frame this in the survey and in thinking about how to possibly change the ordinance would be to look at it in terms of you're trying to do two things, right? One question is, do people need to know? And somebody in the hills, in the Richmond Hills, who can see Chevron's flares, is always going to ask you, John.
Yeah.
and I think they're right. I mean, those are near misses. Those are near.
Yeah. Right.
Every community I've worked for around large industrial plants, the old timers, they say when they start flaring, often that's when you get new batteries for your shortwave and start paying attention. So there's a need to know, but that's not the same as there's a plume coming at you and you need to know right now. So there's a so I think that if you might want to frame it as really the two questions: informing people about things they really need to know, which is, I think, a big part of what Heidi's talking about, and then in addition to that, figuring out the timing so that you're not inundating people with too much information about what they have to check. I don't necessarily need to get up on my roof and look to make sure that the plume's not coming at me every time there's a level 1. I think you're both right. So maybe it's two questions.
Yeah, I think, and Matt, you hear that, what we're trying to capture on this survey. I mean, Federal and I have a lot of experience in this. Look, I've been on the board 23 years. Federal's been on the board, 22 years? 2 years apart. He's 23 and I'm 25. Where we go.
Right.
Collectively 48 years of experience here. And the one thing we know is that even when there's not an offsite impact, there are many events. Look, I live in Richmond. I live near the refinery. I live this, I breathe this, I see it. So I and my office is in this community. So I have the same questions, except I know who to call and find out what's going on. And then I put the word out to our own social media or emails about what's going on. So I feel that we end up replacing the county health department and letting people know what's going on, because I talk to the air district, I talk to the facility, and I talk to the health department. So I talk to all three. I get it from the horse's mouth and I put it out. The public is, but it shouldn't be that way only. That we should have a mechanism through our community warning system that lets people know when they, as Greg, as you said, people living just above my office up in the East Richmond Hills, see this going on. I get texts from them. They say, hey, I see some flaring. What's going on? I still remember there was a flaring incident that looked like a fire. I mean, people want to know, because people can't tell the difference between what may be a fire, what may be a flare, what has on-site impacts and what has off-site impacts. I strongly believe, and I know my colleague Federal Glover believes this, is that we need to let the community know that the philosophy of the community warning system up to now has been, we are only going to tell the community when they need to take action. Well, people don't know, they don't always know that. So they say, do I need to take action? This looks pretty bad. So that's what we're trying to get at. We don't look at it is not help to tell people a level 1 incident that you can't see, smell, or has no offsite impact. I mean, I understand some people may want to know about that, and it is up on the website, but letting thousands of people know will just make them immune to acting. That's what the science clearly says. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is let people know whether they need to act when they see something bad, and then to get them to act when it is really bad and they need to do something. I think that's what we're trying to sort out here.
Yeah, and just to add on, I've actually seen it because I've worked in petrochemical companies for 23 years before being on the board for 23 years. And I know that, it's that whole thing of crying wolf. So we want to make sure that people are really paying attention to things when they're going to have impacts on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a good discussion. This is a really, we're on the front lines. This is new ground, and we're trying to do the best. And that's why we want to get community input on this. And look at the survey again, Matt, based on Greg's comments, which I think are good comments. I mean, Greg has lots of experience in this too, over decades. So that would be really, really helpful. And again, put the context together, put it on the website so we can push this out.
Will do. The next public comment will be from A. G'day.
Hi, I just have a kind of nuts and bolts question. When you say, for example, that there's an incident that has impacts offsite with like saying 1,000 feet or so, similar to what happened with Marathon, and there's really targeted notification to that geographical area, how is that calculated? 1,000 feet from, say, the entire fence line?
No.
Or is this the mailing address of the site? Or is this the affected unit?
Health department looks, the health department looks at what the impacted area will be. It's not just 1,000 feet. I mean, there have been times when half the city of Richmond or the whole city of Richmond has been notified because of potential impacts. I think the health department looks very carefully if the release is it's not just 1,000 feet. Let me be really clear about that. It's the impacted area based on wind direction, where the plume is headed toward, and making a determination and putting it out to all the phones in that impacted area.
Okay, thank you. Because we had heard that it was coming from the mailing address at that facility. And so what I'm understanding from you is that, no, this is taken air direction, affected unit, and all of those things. Not necessarily 1,000 feet, but just that geographical area.
I was around when we approved this policy, and this has been in effect for decades. And yes, there is a determination made on, let me be 100% clear, because I've got notifications personally in many parts outside of any close area. There is an analysis done of plume direction, wind, all of that, the conditions, and folks are out there in the field and making a determination where they go. You can ask anybody in Richmond who's got notifications, and sometimes people get notifications and they're outside of an affected area because the health department's trying to be as liberal as possible and trying to let impacted areas know.
Great.
I don't know who told you that it was 1,000 feet or mailing address. It is every landline within the affected area, because we have everybody's landline and through the 911 reverse directory, but understanding that more people use their cells and there's no mechanism now on that, we're asking people to register their cells.
And this is determined by CCH and not the facility in terms of the geographical area that
I'll have Matt explain that. Yeah, Matt?
Yeah, Supervisor Joya. So when an initial level 2 or level 3 incident is activated by the facility, the initial zone that's prescribed is what's called zone 0, which is 1,000 feet surrounding the facility. Now, given the incident, we can increase it and include additional zones, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a bunch of zones around every facility, dependent upon the chemical that's being released, the wind direction, if there's an inversion, what have you. We can even go beyond the established zones for a facility and do an entire city of Martinez, for example, which may not be included in the zones for, let's say, MRC. So initially, the incident notification does activate within 1,000 feet, but that is the minimum. And typically, incidents that are a level 3 go beyond that 1,000 feet. And we advise many more residents than just those within 1,000 feet based on the incident specifics.
Thank you. Okay, next
Yeah,
speaker.
thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome. The next speaker will be Wendy.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on the question about the specific messaging, which seems a bit subjective when it comes across. When I see it and I read it, it tends to be of no worries, it kind of leans in the direction and favor of the refinery's messaging, which I understand that's where it comes from. And that's just then repeated out through either the city or the county. I would find it more helpful as a resident to have a more factual notification that says what the wind direction was. What are the facts? I don't want to hear that all is okay. Does that make sense? I need to hear.
Yeah, just
why
fill out the
are you
right.
messaging me at all?
Right.
And I think
right.
that's more important and valuable to, and then let me determine if I don't want to breathe it for the next 2 hours. And then that's up to me. But I need to hear the facts to make that decision, because it sounds like the refineries are really making the call when it becomes a level 1, 2, or 3. There could be a delay of 2 hours. So at that point, it's already the plume that we've been seeing from our windows, our home windows, has moved because of wind direction. And then you as a county make a different maybe determination that it's now no longer an XYZ. So thank you, Supervisor Joya, for pointing out that the people in Richmond do see what we see in Martinez. We see it immediately, but maybe we don't hear about it until 2 hours later. And then it's determined that it's all okay. Thank you.
And fill out the survey about your thoughts on that. It would be helpful. Thanks.
Yes, and that I haven't gotten the survey. So that was another question.
We'll work on getting it out. Matt, you'll get it out. We'll work on the outreach about how it gets out in Martinez and Rodeo and Richmond, for example.
Yeah.
We will do that. Supervisor Joya, we have no additional public comments.
Okay, thank you. Good discussion. Our last item 8, is receive an update from the Industrial Safety Ordinance Revisions Working Group for Bulk Storage Facilities, provide direction, and this is direction from Supervisor Glover and myself to expand the ISO to cover some of these bulk storage facilities that are not at refineries, like New Star.
Right.
Okay, good morning. I will be reporting out on this item. Since the last update, the county did finish addressing the initial comments received from County Council and has sent the packet back to County Council for review. And we are working with them to expedite that process so that we can move forward with next steps into the amendments of the Industrial Safety Ordinance. Additionally, we have Michael Dossier, supervising accidental release prevention engineer, is working towards January 2024, bringing the working group back together so that they can start their work on the guidance documents that would be necessary for the bulk liquid storage facilities to implement these programs when they go into effect.
Are we first having revisions to the ordinance?
Yes.
Yes, in the direction Supervisor Joya that we got from you and Supervisor Glover was to work with County Council to revise the final wording on the ISO amendments, the Industrial Safety Ordinance amendments, which is what we're doing right now. So we've sent some of our responses back to County Council, and we're waiting on their final approval.
I'll call them.
And we're
about
just
making
doing
sure-
initial.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
we'll call them to make sure that this moves along quickly, because this has taken a long time, and I know you've had a lot of good work. So can we hopefully get the language at our meeting later in January? Okay,
We will do our best to get that.
Federal, any comments?
No, thank you. This has been a very good meeting.
Good. Any public comment on this item?
If anyone would like to make a public comment on item number 8, which is to receive an update from the Industrial Safety Ordinance Revisions Working Group for bulk storage facilities, please raise your hand now. Our first speaker will be Greg Karras.
Yeah, thanks. Please do this. I still lose sleep over how somehow the tanks got put way too close together at New Star Shore terminals, so one could catch the other one on fire back in 2019, and you know, I don't want to see that happen ever again. So thank you. Move this forward. Thanks.
Yeah, we're looking forward to getting this right away. Yeah.
Supervisor Joya, we have no additional public comments on this item.
All right, so we're looking forward to a good report on this in January. Move it along. Okay.
Okay, happy holidays to all.
Happy holidays, everybody. We're adjourned. Bye.